Good evening, friends, and we are back with another live reality games podcast. If you missed it, we are going to spoil everything about Surviving Maine episode 5.
Yay!
With us tonight, can you believe it, folks? The Nugget, Lyrsa from David versus Goliath, is here.
Ba, 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 ba.
Lyrsa, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Anytime, sure. I'm excited about this. This is like the first season I watch of this, and I'm very impressed. Very impressed.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm watching the episode. I'm like, fuck, that's like, you guys have like nice puzzles and nice challenges that you have to build before time, and very organized. I'm like, I don't know if I will play it, but if you need someone behind the camera, next time you can sign me up. I will definitely go and hang out with you guys and all that shit. Yeah, I will do that.
Oh, this is really cool. So yeah, guys. So yeah, apply for next season because who knows? You might meet Lyrsa behind the scenes. She might be interviewing you in a confessional. Who knows?
I don't know if I have said this in another interview or like podcast, but I went to school, as you might remember, for many things, same as Debbie. But my undergrad is in anthropology. And when we got to the game, right, in Fiji, I saw all the producers like taking notes in this notebook called Write in the Rain, which is the one that we use to write details when we go and do, field notes, right? Yeah. And I got like super excited. I'm like, oh my God, this is like, that's what I used back in school. And they're like, yeah, that's what we do. I'm like, fuck, if I knew that this was a job that I went to school for, I would have never applied for the show. And I would have applied for a job with you guys. And like, can I do that? And like, no, you can't, because now they're going to know you and you're going to be a distraction. So I can't do it there.
Oh.
But I can do it for you guys. So
perfect.
That's so cool. That's so awesome. And folks, this is good to know. If you want to be on the show and you're a super fan, you'll never get an actual job on the show. So you got to choose your path wisely.
Choose wisely. Yeah. Do you want to be on one season or do you want to like do this all the time?
So guys, we're going to get into episode 5. If you haven't watched it, you need to go watch it right now. It's on YouTube because we're going to spoil everything because there are, I'm going to say it, there's idols in porta potties, spaghetti feasts, wood cookies, and peepers. And if you don't know what that means, you're like me and you're not from Maine. Welcome to episode 5.
Yeah, you guys have porta potties. That was one of my questions. That is a luxury that I didn't have. And I had to like pee outside and do all businesses. So these guys are very lucky.
I was just going to ask you the same question, Lyrsa. Like when you saw survivors getting used porta potties, like there's a little envy there because I've played in LRGs.
I was like, what the fuck? Do they have a porta potty? Like what? And you guys have like long like pants and they have like jackets. I know I really like my jacket, but still there was some like things that we didn't get. We didn't get a sleeping bag. That would have solved the jacket situation on the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Liza, you're very kind to give them a sleeping bag for sure.
Natalie, can I have your really cold at night there? So
yeah, you know what? Yeah, they will have probably asked for the sleeping bag too.
Yeah, I don't think Fiji gets as cold as Maine.
Well, I don't think it gets cold. I didn't thought it was gonna get like cold at all, right? And when I was in the process of like preparing my bags and shit, they asked me to bring a jacket, and I'm from Puerto Rico. Like it's the same weather, the same shit, and I'm like, I'm gonna be fine. I don't need a jacket. Don't worry about me. It's not gonna be like it's not gonna affect me. And they're like, oh, yes, you need a jacket. And I actually sent a sweater like Christians and they rejected it. And I think it's because he sent it first, right? So they chose this green members only jacket. I didn't choose it. I got lucky with the jacket, but I never picked that jacket. I would have never picked that jacket. So
they made you iconic. Like giving you
Yeah, like I
have
have it in my arm. Like I tattooed the cat with jacket and everything. So, and it even went to the reunion, because if you saw the reunion, my arm was the whole time in the camera trying to like
I
expose
saw you
that.
going like this. I saw you like this behind
I
whoever.
mean, I knew Jeff was never gonna talk to me, right? I'm very unimportant, right? On the season, I'm like amazing in real life. So I look at the camera, because you are in the reunion, like you're sitting, like audience is on the other side, right? But we have a TV that is showing us the whole time what we are, like what you guys are watching on TV, right? And I see that they're talking to Christian, and I see my arm, and I'm like, oh fuck, yes. And I started like moving, and every time Christian moved, I moved too. And I didn't thought anybody was gonna get what I was doing. And then when we ended the reunion, yeah, all the producers came to me like, "Oh my god, were you doing it on purpose? Like your tattoo was the whole time." Like it was so distracting, because we wanted to like listen to Christian, and we could only like see your jacket moving around like the tattoo. I'm like, yeah, of course did it on purpose. Come on. But yeah. They will have asked for anything, even sleeping bags. So.
I will always take a sleeping bag if I'm out there. So Lyrsa, you've watched this season so far. Before this episode is going to feature the swap, and this is one crazy swap because it goes from 2 tribes to 3 tribes.
I hate swaps.
I was going to ask you the same question because we all hate swaps in that situation. I remember your situation you were in. Did your season go from 2 to 3 as well, or 2 to 2? I can't remember.
Yeah, 2 to 3.
Yeah, see, that's rough. Yes. Actually, there's a lot of parallels here that we can talk about coming up. That's really interesting. So basically, this episode starts with the aftermath of what happened prior, which is Tricky got voted out. There were some people that wanted to save Tricky. They flopped their votes. They burned their votes just to stay with majority, especially Rebecca voted just to stay in the good graces of others. We'll see if that was a good move for her. Lyrsa, coming up to the swap, who do you think are your standouts? Who are you rooting for right now?
I'm rooting for Becky, obviously, but I have seen Becky, and I cannot say like, oh, I know Becky, but I kind of know her. I have seen her like several times. So when I saw her on the first episode, like, oh my god, yes, like I want her to win. But I really like Forrest because he's so fucking weird and unpredictable. But he's so like, I will like Forrest. If you're listening, I will totally hang out with you. Like I like him. He's so weird, and I like him a lot. Those are my 2 favorite people. I like Jassy too. Jassy, right?
Yes, Jassy.
She's still there, right? She reminds me of one of the girls that produces burlesque show here in Boston. So maybe that's it. I look at her, I'm like, oh, is this? I'm like, no, it is, but I like her. And I also like that people kind of like underestimate her probably in the beginning because she's a bigger girl, and that's exactly what happened to me, so I can relate to that. Right, so those are like my top 3 picks.
I'm with those picks. Forrest is totally endearing. I've been digging Forrest. He's all about having fun. He's like playing the game, but he's not playing the strategic game. He's playing just like the social, live it up. I'm going to be fire master. I'm going to get all the wood for the tribe.
He's having fun, and that's the whole idea. Yes, you want to win. Of course, like, that's the main goal. But you set, at least I did, you set some steps and like goals that you want to achieve throughout the game. And the first one is have fun. Because if you're not having fun, and you cannot take everything seriously all the time, right? So you're not having fun, then your experience, yeah, you had it, but it's not going to be like a good one. So I will always say have fun first.
And I feel like Survivor is such a game that gets tough at some point. So if you're having fun, people might gravitate towards you.
Sometimes. It depends who you are. So I do understand that, because I also kind of see myself in him. I understand that he wants to have fun and all of this, but that's the price sometimes you pay with other people, and they don't want to like work with you because you are having too much fun and they don't think you're taking it seriously when you are, right? If you're there and you sign up for this, regardless if it's like your experience at the main survivor or the real or whatever, if you're there, it's because you sign up for this and you think you can win and you want it. Just because you demonstrated or let it seen in a different way of how everybody else wants it, it doesn't like, cancel you, right? So I think that I understand why people are very apprehensive about Forrest, but I love him. I think he's great. He's great.
And that six-pack doesn't hurt.
Yeah, that doesn't anything for me, but
Yeah, it's fair.
Sure, six pack.
Maybe it will work on some other tribe mates.
Yeah.
So we have a shock that comes during this episode. This is not a single elimination, guys. It is in the sense of Survivor. There's 3 ways to get removed. You get voted, you get medevaced, or you quit.
I forgot about the quit.
I did too,
yeah.
because we kind of gloss over it, because if you've been following along with us, you know that Jasmine, who I ranked 3rd on her tribe, and I was clearly wrong on this. Jasmine's been dealing with a lot of stuff. She misses her kids. She's dealing with other stuff psychologically. So she ends up going home, and it sucks for her tribe. That's what I kept thinking about. Is man, when you play this game, Lyrsa, the last thing you want is somebody to quit.
Yeah, I also I don't know if I can say this, but yeah, I completely understand when somebody quits on you and then numbers and then you screw and then you ask, man, just stay for one more day. So if something happens, we at least have some sort of numbers. And the person says no. And yeah, I don't know. I can't say much, but I'm guessing that you probably guys know what I'm talking about. So,
Yeah.
Can we not say?
I don't know if we can say.
Watch David versus Goliath. You'll see a couple episodes in, something happens.
Something happens. And oh man, I wish I could talk freely about that. But
if you're a Survivor fan, you can probably piece together the information.
Yeah. I think it might have been out there on Reddit, like people debating about if it was like a quit or a medical evac. Are people seeing this, or they're just listening to this?
They are seeing and listening.
Fuck, man.
We are here. We're legit. We can say whatever we want.
Everyone knows she quit. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, I have read it on Reddit. Yeah, she quit, and it's so sad because I mean, it probably is sad for the guys at Maine, but I don't know the price here. But when you're playing for that much money, anything that anybody else does affects your game in a way or another, right? And when you have someone that can stay a little bit longer to save somebody from like this whole thing, I mean, just stick it off for like one more day. Nothing was gonna happen. We were not gonna go to a challenge. I mean, Christian, Gabby, and I were super fans, right? And David too, like most of our season, everybody was a super fan, right? So we know exactly what's gonna happen, right? And the only thing that you have to figure out is which puzzle you're gonna have, because it's like right now it's kind of like scripted. Every 3 days we do this. This is the first reward. This is going to be the second reward. Like we know what's going to happen, right? In some sort of way. And we knew that there was not going to be a challenge, that this person could have sit down the next challenge, and still, no, I want to go. Like, okay, great.
Can I just talk? I wanted to okay, we all know, okay, be quit. But so for in this game, in Surviving Maine, Jasmine played the handball challenge because that happened after the netball challenge where Tricky got voted out. And then it was the handball challenge. I edited it differently to make it a good episode. And she ate the brownies. She ate the brownies. And then she left. She ate the brownies. And then she quit.
You know what?
Right after that. Right after the brownies.
That's even worse now.
So
You,
bad.
like, are you fucking kidding me, man? You oh man, really? For real?
She did.
Those should have been somebody else's calories.
I'm not really though.
Oh, Jasmine.
Jasmine,
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh,
Why?
Kirk, how many packs of cigarettes do you think she smoked on the way home?
I think she
Oh,
bought
she's
it.
a smoker.
Probably.
Yeah.
What's that called? A carton?
She wanted to
A whole carton.
She grabbed the carton.
You know what? It is funny because I'm a smoker and I'm smoking now way more than I did before the game. And I didn't prepare. And production told me, the casting people, like, you need to start quitting now because once you get there, like, that's it. You're gonna have withdrawal. You're probably gonna have like a chain situation. Remember that he was going crazy with the cigarettes, right? Yeah. And I'm like, sure. Today is gonna be my last day. Like, I'm gonna reduce my amount of cigarette every day. I try to do that. I never did it, right? And I had my last cigarette, I think, before boarding the plane to Fiji, or like in that, like, right. I got to LA and I had like my last cigarette or two, and that was it. Pat is a smoker too, and he quit like the day before getting into the game. Because I remember that the day before the game, we're in Ponderosa, and he asked for a cigarette to one of the production people. I'm like, I thought we couldn't fucking smoke. And this dude is smoking. Like, this dude is doing all of this. This is so not fair. I didn't smoke. But I never felt the desire to smoke while I was in the game.
Oh.
And maybe because I was so concentrated in what was happening there, I had none of my cravings. I didn't want to smoke weed or cigarettes or anything. Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, and I tried to quit when I came back, and that shit didn't work. I try very hard.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's really interesting to hear that you didn't have any cravings. Once the game started, it's so intense that I guess it blocked all of that.
I don't know. I just didn't. Also, it's probably maybe I never heard Pat. Well, Pat lasted 3 days, but he never said anything that he would want a cigarette, right? Those 3 days, none of us, the smokers, wanted to have a cigarette. We were like, Carl smokes, and sometimes we'll have like, oh, I'll have a cigarette right now. I'm like, yeah, sure, but like that craving of going crazy that I have to have a cigarette never happened to us, at least not to me. So.
Too busy starving, maybe.
Yeah, there's so many things going on. The starving, some people couldn't sleep. I was very lucky, and I slept every single night. And yeah, I never told them because that's an advantage. If you can sleep, you're resting. So I never told this shit, but I slept every single day really well. I even had dreams. It was fantastic. But yeah, if you're gonna do this and you're gonna apply and you're a smoker, just try not to do it, just in case. You probably won't crave it, but who knows? People are different.
I heard a story from Kathy Sleckman from Micronesia, and she was saying how most of that cast was smokers, like almost the entire cast, and that at one point they could smell, one of the cameramen were smoking and they could smell it. And I think that's when I might be having the story incorrect, so somebody can correct me in the comments, but James got furious at that point because he was a smoker too, and literally went up to that man and said, in China, I would kill you. So, like, super intense. And
I would have probably told this guy, like, can I smell you? Like, I would have killed him, but can I smell you very intensely? Like, and I just like, get a good sniff out of you. Not kill him. It's not him. It's nobody.
But I don't think they can probably get away with that nowadays.
I didn't smell cigarettes from anybody production. So the only person I knew that smoked was from the casting department, and the person wasn't there. But yeah, they interact as least as they can with you. Even on the interviews, I will go in and I will try to like get information from them, like who are you, where are you from, what's your name, what do you do, and they just don't tell you anything. You can't.
So in this episode, I'm going to bring it back around. There's a lot of talk with idols. So first off, Jess finds an idol taped to the bathroom door of the porta potty, and thank you, Taylor, for giving the sparkles because I wouldn't have seen it otherwise.
Yeah,
I didn't see it. They said it, to be honest.
And so Jess gets this. She's already been on the outs. We've already seen this like starting to come up in earlier episodes. So this is like a saving grace. She, it just goes to show when you're playing Survivor, you should just keep your eye out for stuff that looks weird at any point, because even if it's in the bathroom, it might save your life in the game, as we'll get to. But the more interesting conversation about strategy, I think, is with our earlier Red Tribe, where they had found the idol. Mike, let's go back to the first person voted, or second person voted out, Michael Canfield, right? He found the clue. Jasmine, who quit, found the idol, gave it to Justin, who then we discover in this episode has created what I think is a new strategy. I'm calling it the rotating idol strategy. Yeah. I don't know what this is, but apparently there is enough trust on this team where they are literally giving this idol to each other. And I'm shocked. Like I've watched a lot of these. I'm just shocked people are doing this.
It's so weird, dude. I will never understand how this worked.
I wrote, Michael, really? You gave your idol to the tribe? Michael, no, it's not Michael. There's one of the guys that has barely seen Survivor, right? But it's not Michael.
Forrest is the only one who's barely.
It's Forrest, right? It's not that familiarized, right? Michael, you know better than that. You know
Michael
that you don't
better.
give. Yeah, you don't give this shit around. Like, it's not like a best friend spin that you change depending on who you feel is your best friend. You keep that shit together, man. And now they don't want to give it to Becky. Like, why?
No.
Didn't you all agree at first that you guys were going to give it to the person that needed it the most? That's very unfair to Becky. I'm very upset about that.
And then Toby tells us that Justin had recreated the rules to be like, well, it's only given to the person who can actually save themselves, which won't be if you're the lone wolf is the word they use. If you're the only person there on the swap, it's not useful to you. And I would actually disagree and state that maybe it's the most useful because you know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Like with Jess.
So that was interesting.
It didn't make any sense because you don't know what's going to happen after that. So give it to her. She can save herself, right? And you need to take this day by day also. Like you should only think about maybe like in the long time period, like, right? The long game, like maybe 1 or 2 days ahead, right? That's what I will like put thoughts on. But I'm upset. She needed it now. Well, I mean, she didn't need it because they won. That's fine, right?
And you have to give Justin credit for hoodwinking this whole tribe. Like Justin, what Toby says, Justin's a schemer. Yeah, he convinced them all that this was a great plan. Like. So good.
Yeah, but it makes me question the rest of the tribe. Like, really, guys? You think this is the best plan? Like, we're talking about any of you could be the lone person in that other tribe. Like, no.
Yeah.
No, smart from Justin, right? But there's other people that didn't say anything.
Yeah, he's really dominating this tribe. I mean, and moving into Bateau, I feel like he is really strong arming so much of this early part of the game, which could be dangerous. So let's get to the swap. I have a screen to share with you guys, so those of you at home could kind of see this. Here we have the swapped tribe. We have, the way it works is they draw wood cookies, which I literally had never heard of this term before. Liza, is this common?
Yeah, everybody knows it here.
Yeah.
When you guys said it, I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Like, it wasn't even a thought that crossed my mind.
I had never heard it either. Yeah.
Oh, really? Weird.
So it's literally what you think it is. It's just it's a thick branch. It's a wood cookie. It's a cookie that's made of wood, and there's a few that have captain markers on them. So Sarah, Cameron, and I believe it was Katie. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Katie are the captains of their tribes. This is really interesting because Jasmine had quit. So it wasn't going into an even 5-5-5 anymore. So I'm sure you guys pulled out what would have been the natural rule anyways, is that it would have been one tribe goes to 4. So Sarah is original blue, Cameron's original blue, Katie's original red. But the interesting strategy that Sarah has is she just says fuck it to her original tribe, and she goes out to have a party with new people. She's bored with you. And she's bringing along, you know who she's bringing along? The man she has always kept in the game. She's always looking out for him. It's Tony.
I wrote Sarah, what the fuck? But yeah. My notes are all full of like swearing words and stuff.
You can swear as much as you want, because that's what I was saying when I watched it. I was like, Sarah, but you know what? She gives us reasons. Let's go down Lombard, because we get a couple of confessionals. So for Toby, her strategy is she wants somebody who's a big guy. She wants some physical, she wants some height, long arms, whatever it is. She's looking for that for her tribe. Then she picks Forrest. And she just wants to know what life is like with Forrest.
It's going to be fun for sure. But.
And then she picks Tony. Am I correct? Was it that order? And then Emily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she eventually gets 1 blue for her tribe. That's interesting, Dustin. You know, it's Toby. I think Toby comes across as a really nice guy. I think Sarah was really looking for nice people. Like when you really look at kind of like who she picked, it feels like team good vibes.
It's so Sarah.
Yeah, it is.
And what's interesting is right before this swap too, they find out that Jasmine had quit the game, and just a couple of quotes that I wrote down that we didn't talk about. We get a quote from Katie. She knew what she was signing up for.
Yes.
And we also get from Jazzy a more empathetic, that sucks. You don't know what somebody's going through. I'll say that. Like she quit, it sucked. But maybe in the game of Survivor, how you perceive it might reflect on you. And I might make a connection with there later on if you haven't seen the end of the episode. But I was trying to find more connections. Anyways, so we have the Skitter tribe. The captain is Cameron, and Cameron is like the more and more we see him, Taylor, he is like the numbers cruncher of this game. I feel like. Yeah,
absolutely. You'll see a lot more of that.
So I wonder, Lyrsa, if it's getting too obvious for the other players, or if he's going to be able to kind of hide under the radar for a little bit longer.
Are you asking me if he's gonna have a Michaela moment?
Yeah.
Well, maybe. I mean, who else is? Yeah. Well, he's mostly blue, so yeah. At some point, these people are gonna figure it out, because they have been with him from the get-go. So, and he's counting. You should never count in front of people. I never did.
What's math? I don't get it. How do you do?
You should only do math at night, just so you know.
Solid tip.
That's a good
Yeah,
tip.
nobody can see you except the camera lady, and then she'll ask you and she'll pull you out. Why are you like doing math in the sand? Still, do it at night.
So, interestingly, in this tribe, one of the things, if you've been watching all the episodes, you're going to see that the three I'm going to keep talking about from night 1 or night 0, whatever it was, Jazzy and Brandon and Cameron, and he got them all together. I think Cameron might be pretty insulated right now. I think he's in a good spot.
From that tribe, yeah, I think he's a very smart person, and he really knows what he's doing.
And we have Becky, who's feeling very betrayed, as we've already mentioned about at this point. What is Becky's move here?
I will just do what I did, and it was like pray that you win or that something happens, because these people are tight. So unless Justin decides that it's okay to give her the idol, if they lose, they're probably gonna get rid of her.
That's interesting, Lyrsa, because I think it was actually, I don't think Justin has it right now.
No, who's holding it now?
Toby has it right now.
Okay, I think Toby is going to be somebody who's more likely to give it away to somebody. I don't know why. Maybe he's a teacher. He's more like used to working with people. I don't want to say Justin doesn't work with people. That's not fair. But Justin clearly doesn't want to give it to Becky, whereas I think Toby might be more willing to make a move like that to benefit his game, as I think Justin wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then we have Rebecca, who's on Skitter. And I feel like there's other tribes that would have been better for her, or other number situations. She's not clearly at the dominant part of the old blue tribe, but she's still trying to work her way. I feel like that was a really smart decision of hers to vote with majority last round. The thing is I think you're right, Lyrsa. They just have to win. They have to pray and win.
Yeah.
Especially Rebecca and Becky. I think that's their game right now.
Yeah, definitely. Because, if that person would have left, maybe the swap will have been different. I don't know.
And then, lastly, we have the Bateau, the new tribe, which is not going to have fire. It's not going to have anything. They're going to have to start over, just like, I
have a question about that, because I wrote it here. You guys didn't give them fire? That was the question. Usually, they do get fired once they do the third tribe, unlike Survivor. I think these people did, or didn't they? They don't get a shelter. Sure. You don't get a shelter. You have to rebuild it, but you get fire already because everybody already have fire. So
you don't remember, Liza?
I know that we did not give them fire, but I don't remember. I don't know how it's like really done.
Yeah, what you don't get is it's shelter, because you have to build it. You're going to a new place, but we already have fire, so they give you the flint. Lisa, you should have given them the flint.
They got flint when they went back to camp after tribal.
Yeah, they only went half the night without it.
Yeah.
But they could have impaled themselves with those sticks.
It was so dangerous over there.
I don't think
it was dangerous. I don't know about that.
I just been tripping on one and like getting impaled by one of those tree stumps in my eye.
I work on a horror podcast, and that clearly could be the set of a horror movie, and somebody's running and trips and gets impaled. They were right.
Right in the eye. So, Lyrsa, I love horror movies, and not to digress, but what's your podcast, just for myself?
Oh, it's a Heavy Leather horror podcast show. and it's on iTunes and Spotify and probably in some other like podcast thing. And it comes out every Tuesday. We record Mondays, and we give you like movies reviews. We all watch different movies during the week, or like something that's horror adjacent, and we watch a whole movie. Everybody watched the same movie, and we discuss some news, and we talk about the people that died on that week through history. It's very funny.
I love it. Oh, I'm going to be there next Tuesday. I'm stoked. This is so awesome. Actually, that was one of the subtitles or extra quotes that I think Taylor could have used. If you trip, you'll get impaled.
That was a good one.
That's a good metaphor for Survivor, the game.
Damn it.
I also like you guys mentioned this in the comments, but experience the forest.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's a good one. I also like invaders at camp from John.
Yeah.
Which is you, Liza.
It's me.
You're the invader. So I guess we should get to that. You guys had a phenomenal challenge this episode. Gosh, it's such the scale was large. The music, the composition, Taylor, was exciting and riveting. It was original. It was so much fun. What was I don't know. How did you pull this off, Liza? It's such an epic thing to create. It's huge.
Yeah. So one thing that was one of our goals this season was to make everything bigger compared to the first season. And we were talking about making fabric pieces that were kind of odd shaped to lay out on the ground. And we just thought about hanging them up instead, and it ended up working out really well. It actually turned out to be my favorite challenge of the whole season.
Me too. Me too.
Just because they look so big and so just like badass and cool, and they get to stay up for the rest of the challenges too, which is really fun. And the wood cookie challenge, actually, I'm pretty sure Jess Frazier came up with that, who was on our production team. I think she sends me. Yes. And she sends me random little puzzles like that often. I think she was at like a science and math museum with her son and saw that and sent a snapshot to me. So I ended up making it. But one thing that
what was the amount that he had to add? What was the number?
34.
I think it's 30. Okay, 34. That's what I thought it was.
Okay.
And one thing that I would have been terrible at that. One thing that I don't know if is, I didn't see it in this episode anyways, is that Toby had the puzzle figured out before the challenge started.
Because he's a teacher.
And he knew once I said that the solution for each row and column was 16, he knew what it was. And I like, just every time I think of that, I'm still shocked. Because he ended up saying, I was like, how did you guys figure that out so fast? And he was like, oh, I knew it before we started. And he like explained to me how he figured it out. And yeah, it's crazy. So now every time I see that challenge, I'm just amazed at Toby's mental math skills.
So apparently, before you play a Survivor game, you should memorize as many mental math puzzles and go to as many museums as possible to figure out magic number squares, because clearly that sounds like Toby. I mean, that was a huge advantage. So if you got, okay, to break it down, guys, they have to run and unknot wood cookies. These wood cookies make a magic number puzzle where every row and adds up to the same number. And then they have to race back and they have to put fabric pieces up on a puzzle that's taller than people. So they have to lift people up on their shoulders. It's like watching a real Survivor challenge when you see people physically interacting like that. Like it's such a good episode. It makes me want to play when I watch it. I'm like,
yeah, they were maybe like
fun.
10 or 11 feet tall. They were huge.
It was huge. But the new Lombard tribe, their teamwork, their everything, their morale, they kill it. They absolutely just dominate, and they solve the final puzzle before Skiddard and Bateau even solve the prior number puzzle. So then we see in the comments, the novice Survivor mistake. It didn't end up helping them, but Skidder solves the number puzzle, and then what do? They leave
it there.
Cameron, come on. Like, of all people there, I would have thought Cameron was the guy to like kick the numbers over. I mean, that could have been the end of Becky. Like, in some scenario, that could have been Becky's finale.
Like a rookie's mistake.
Yeah, complete rookie mistake. And Cameron's not a rookie either. So I know you're going to play.
Captain.
He's you know, I hope that doesn't happen again later in this season. Bateau ends up losing the challenge. You know, they tried hard, but it felt like they weren't moving as quick. And even Katie mentioned, and I feel like this is the kiss of death, when she said, didn't put in 100% effort. I don't know about that, Lyrsa. Like, that's a risky strategy.
But isn't it smart, though? Isn't it smart? Yeah. I would say that's such a good move.
I think if it worked out, it would have been a good move.
Yeah, it's like but you can't judge it based on that. You have to judge it based on the move itself. Like in the end, it didn't work out because she was blindsided by an idol. But like, if it's maybe if they had the 3 skitters, and if they had just one more former Lombard on their tribe, then it would have been a lot safer to throw, because then you can just split the vote, or like choose, or split the votes. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I think, like, if it's me and I know like someone I'm in an alliance with is going home for sure because we didn't give her the idol, I'm going to try to save that person because I'm thinking about the next day, you know? So I don't fault Katie at all for that. And when I saw that confessional, I was heartbroken for her because I had no idea. I thought that, well, whatever. It doesn't matter.
But you only make those moves when you are 100%, right? That this person doesn't have an idol and it's going to work. And they didn't know. Like, that's what I feel like. I don't want to go back to what I did, but you should only throw a challenge when you're very sure it's going to work your way.
Yeah, fair.
And it does make me think about your tribal council a little bit. I know it's different because I don't remember an idol being played during your tribal council, Lyrsa, but I remember it being a swap tribe. And I remember numbers not feeling like they were for you. And one of the most interesting things is, if I remember correctly, weren't the people at your tribal didn't they end up being in the finals of the game?
They were the final 3.
Yeah,
they were the final 3?
Lovely bastards. The 3 of them were the final.
Lovely bastards.
Yeah. Which, you know what? I mean, people say, Survivor players are, oh, I'm so over this. It's in the past. It's never in the past. You never get over this shit. We tell you guys we're over it. We will never be over it. Right? Never. And I do it stings when I go back and I think, man, that could have been me. I could have been on the final 3 for sure. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And there was a situation like throwing a challenge, just that, well, I don't think I have told this before. You guys get the first thing. So you guys remember that when we split like this episode, we sent Carl to Exile Island, right?
Yes.
And the numbers were not in our favor, in Giovanni's favor, right? It was just me and Nick and 3 former Goliath. But I knew that they had issues with Natalie, right? So when you were talking about Cameron counting, and I told you guys that you only count at 9, it's because that night I started making numbers, right? And the camera lady saw me. And I pulled Nick aside and I told him, like, we need to throw the next challenge because the crack here is Natalie. And if we go to tribal, right, we get rid of her and we bring Carl and it's 3 against 2.
Right.
And he's like, oh, I never thought of that. I'm like, yeah, that's what we have to do. We should do this, right?
Damn.
And then, yeah, I mean, a lot of people think I wasn't playing right? Or that I was just chilling. No. I was playing very hard. You guys didn't see that part, but I was playing the whole time, right? So the next day we get to the challenge, and then Nick decides that no, we should not do the challenge. It was a thing between us two, right? Because I know we shouldn't. We just like play, and I didn't follow his instructions, and I did everything in my power to lose that challenge.
Wow.
So we could vote it out Natalie. And then the orange tribe decided that they were gonna like move that ball too much, and then we won. And if you see when Jeff says that we were safe, that everybody's very happy and jumping, and I'm like, yeah, sure. All of you fuck my game right now. All of you, thank you, Nate. We could have gone in like Carl and have numbers, and the story would have been completely different. Completely different. So I understand why Cameron is making numbers, because I did that. I understand why Katie wanted to throw the challenge, because I tried to do that. So I totally get what they're going right now.
So this is my only question then. If like to your point, Taylor, and your point, Lyrsa, like I get, because I'm kind of like results oriented, so I'm looking at the whole picture and I'm kind of critiquing Katie's move. But there's one thing to be said, and this is one of those votes you don't often see, but we do see it happen, especially I think more in LRGs when there's 4 people. There is the 2-1-1 vote. It's not impossible to make happen, and in fact, it's easier to make happen when it's an alliance of 3 and 2 people just decide to, hey, one of us is going to flop the vote. I think in that scenario, Katie gave us a warning. There's a couple warnings. We find out, there's the Marine connection between Justin and Jess.
Yeah, I did that.
And apparently there's like a code or something. Is there like a Marine code? Like, what is this?
All military, they all have their codes and they all stick with each other. It doesn't matter which brand you are.
I'm curious, Taylor, how many people, do people know that they're both from the Marines?
Everyone knew. I'm not sure how they knew, but behind the scenes, really fun fact that never gets brought up on the show is that Sarah and some other people were convinced that Justin and Jess were secret boyfriend and girlfriend. That is not true. But for like a day, she was convinced of this.
And it kind of makes sense. Maybe the similar personalities came out. I don't know. So yeah, Katie also mentions, John maybe being on the bottom of their group. And so John's in her 4. It's always easier after you've read the votes, right? It's always easier. But I'm just like, I think she should have made it a 2-1-1. And on the revote, I think Justin keeps her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
John would have gone. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that these 3 skitter players on Beto maybe aren't super fans. Oh, maybe John, but John wasn't so much like talking and strategizing with people because he was trying to lay low. I think if they had just talked it out a little bit, it would have like the smartest thing to do. And what I would have done anyway is just talk to Jess and just like tell her like, hey, John might be the weakest person here. If we don't want to lose again, let's all vote him out. And if you can convince Jess to do that, you don't even have to throw a vote at John, if you just talk. But like some people were not willing to talk to the other tribe.
Dish it out. Who wasn't willing to talk?
You'll find out.
Also, mental note, it's Jess's birthday today in the game when you're watching this, and it's already been Michael's birthday. And he got voted out on his birthday. So I'm sure Jess was sweating at this tribal council because not only is it just tribal, it's like real life Survivor tribal because it's in the middle of the night. So you get all the awesome lighting and stuff that we don't usually see in LRGs. And I just love that choice, Liza. That was one of my favorite parts of this episode is waking them up in the middle of the night. I loved it.
Thank you. They were not happy about it.
Yeah, I also wrote that. At midnight, so rude. LOL.
I think honestly it was probably worse for production because by then, I mean, we would have been sleeping and not up. And I remember just like having to stay up and wait and like get tribal ready and like dreading that decision. But then once we saw it, I mean, it was obviously a good choice because it looks great.
Full disclosure, I went to a hotel. I did not see any of that. I didn't even know Jess had an idol. I came the next morning and I was like, what? How did Katie get upvoted out? What?
Yeah, because then Taylor came back and we were like, we have so much to tell you.
Yes.
Emily, thank you. It was very dramatic. I agree with you. And adding to the drama, Taylor, your music at Tribal Council, that was my favorite. The challenge music was second, but Tribal, it was intense. I love the drums. I love the violin. I love the psycho-esque right as the final vote came in. That was fantastic.
Thank you so much.
So at the end of this episode, Lyrsa, do any of your picks change for who you think's gonna take it to the end?
Well, I'm concerned about Becky now, right? After the swap and all that. But I think they have a good team. They all like strong, and I feel that they probably will win the next challenge too. Or if they don't win, I mean, I think she's safe. I feel like I have a feeling that she's safe, so hopefully. And the other people are in a good spot, like Torres is in a good spot. Because even if they lose, they have majority, right? So he's good too. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm a little worried for Tony if Lombard loses just off original numbers. That could be scary for him unless, they just don't think he's a threat. He's so under the radar. Maybe they look then at Sarah, which would be kind of that would suck for me because I love Sarah, And Sarah got her beer this episode. Can we all be happy? Sarah finally got her beer.
When she says, "Do you have 6 more?"
How long does it take the game? Like, is it like how many days you guys filmed this?
4.
4 days. Okay. And where do you guys film this? At Bob Crowley's place or no?
No, this is on my family's land.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which day in real life is the second day and you're craving a beer, Sarah? That bad?
She talked about it from day one, I'm pretty sure. I think it was clear that Sarah was waiting for beer.
She's playing this game for the prizes. Hopefully she takes home the most important prize, which is first place.
Beer, yay!
I think Sarah's going to come out of this experience with a lot of friends. I do.
Definitely. She's my friend.
That's who Sarah is, I think. Yeah.
Any teasers for next week's episode, Taylor?
This is a big one. It's a double boot episode.
Bum, bum,
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my gosh. So we unfortunately lost 2 in this episode, and we're going to lose 2 more individuals. Oh my.
Yeah. This is your fault, Jasmine.
Yes, Jasmine, it's all your fault.
You could have waited like one more day and you could have gone anyways.
But guys, I just want to repeat what I said a few weeks ago, which was that them voting out Michael was the dumbest move of the entire game. I said it was the third dumbest move, but yes, it's so dumb. Why did they do that?
You did say that, and I was actually questioning it. I remember being like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" I'm kind of seeing the writing on the wall now.
He never would have quit.
She wanted to leave kind of like right away, right? She
I think after the first time.
Emily agrees.
Yeah, Katie's right. Like, you knew what you were signing for,
yeah.
Right? And then the first day, like, this is no camping. You're not going to Lake George, right? Come on.
That's how I feel about it too.
Jasmine.
I got no love for quitters.
Yeah.
Nobody has. So Jasmine, if you decide to go on Real Survivor and you quit, Jeff will never talk to. He never talks to us, but he will never talk to you. Extra net.
You'll get an extra not talking to from Jeff Probst. Yeah, and please,
Not even tag him on Twitter.
For all these people that actually want to play Survivor and actually want to suffer this game, please don't take the place if you're going to quit. Like, we want to watch you not quit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's more interesting than you quitting. So don't quit for us, the fans.
And some players also don't want you to quit. Remember that.
Yes. Even more importantly, you're going to help somebody else win $1 million. So please don't quit. Besides the Heavy Leather podcast show, Lyrsa, is there anything else we can follow you on?
You can follow my Instagram. It's Lyrsa Torres. Very easy. And if you go to my link in the bio, you will go to my Etsy store. I opened a store, I think last week. I took a collage class and the teacher was like, "Oh, they're so good." And I'm like, "Oh, should I open a store?" And she was like, "Yeah, you should do it." So I did it. And I'm selling my collages, like prints of them. I'm not selling the real thing. And also, I'll be playing Equalizer on Friday night.
That's EQ Online. EQ Online.
Yeah, EQ__online on Twitter. And they put the links over there. I don't know the links, but yeah. And it's going to be extra fun if you saw did you see the last episode, Taylor?
I watched parts of the one you were in because I was in one right after that. So yeah, I watched yours. That's the only one I've seen.
Yeah, after half the game and I'm really high, I just start talking nonsense. So it's really fun. The game is fun, and then you see me like say a lot of crazy shit, and it's funner.
Nugget of love.
This is Equalizer.
Yes.
I'm new to this. This is on Friday.
On Friday, yes, at 7 o'clock, I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, fun. I have a plan for Friday night at 7. I'm stoked. Can't wait to see you play. This has been a blast, guys. As a quick announcement, on our schedule this week. Oh, I can't understand Dustin's chicken scratch, but I do know we are helping out in advertising. If you don't know about this, there is a trivia night with Cerie Fields. Our friends George and Jordan are hosting it again. It is right at the end of this month. I believe it's right around the 23rd. You guys should check it out. Hit our page up if you want to get a link over to their stuff. We want to support them and get more people to their trivia night. Thanks again, Taylor and Liza, for joining us. And of course, Lyrsa.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Lyrsa.
Anytime. I'm doing nothing on Wednesdays nights right now. So.
And if you want to know more about horror movies, I just found out something to watch. Go check it out. That's on Tuesdays. Am I correct? That drops.
It comes out on Tuesdays. Yes. Tuesdays, like around noon, we post it out. So yeah.
So if you want to keep up with the body count with me, join in and listen to that podcast. Thanks for joining in, guys. We'll see you soon.